Again, thank you for joining today's inventory webinar. My name's Richard. I'll be conducting the webinar today. I'm just going to place everyone on mute just to prevent any distraction, background noises. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to type in the chat box. And I will answer your questions as we go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to log into Wireless Standard. Now notice we have a store locations login screen that appears. So if you do have multiple locations on your database, you'll be able to log in to whichever store you'd like. So in this case, for demonstration purpose, we're going to log into this Brooklyn store. Keep in mind that whenever you update your inventory, it's going to be updated to the location that you're logged into. Okay, so now that we're logged into the Brooklyn store, notice you can see down below the store it says Brooklyn Wireless. So this is your current store that you'll be logged into. And then the username that you logged in with should appear here next to user. Now regarding inventory, to manage your inventory, the first step would be to access our inventory work center. So what you're going to do is you're going to click this inventory icon here on the top left. And this is going to bring up your inventory work center. So this is the area that you'll be using to manage all of your inventory, to add the quantities to the products that are created inside Wireless Standard. Now there's a couple ways to go about putting in your inventory. There's two main ways. The first way is kind of like a receive express method. It's the fastest way to put your inventory in. And then the second way is to create a purchase order, which is essentially double entry because you've already created this purchase order with your vendor, and then to receive against that purchase order when the order arrives to your store. So I'm going to cover both ways. The first way, again, is our Receive Express method. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off by clicking Receive Items in the middle here. And then you'll click your vendor from the drop-down wherever you're receiving the products from, and then click Receive Express on the right here. So now notice we are brought to a receiving screen. So the next step is to look up our products and then update the quantities to those products. Now you can do this a few different ways. First, you're going to click in the lookup field here, and you're going to search for your products either by scanning the UPC, the barcode. You can also do a keyword search, or you can even search by product ID. Now, every product that gets created in Wireless Standard gets a product ID created along with it. But for instance, let's say we can do a keyword search. Say we want to put in a case, an accessory item. So we can type in case and then enter. And then we can see all of our cases will pop up for us, and we can actually hover over to see the full name of the case and double click whichever case we'd like to put in. Again, you can always scan the UPC and it should populate right in here for you as a line item. And you can even search by your product ID number here when you get more familiar with your products. So for instance, let's say we want to put in this iPhone 5 case. We'll double click, and here it is. So now notice the quantity level is starting at 1. So this is what you want to update. So let's say you have 5 of these cases at this particular location in Brooklyn Wireless. You can click in the quantity cell and type in 5 and then enter. You can update the cost as well if you'd like. It's going to pull the cost from when you created the product originally in Product Manager. But let's say this week you put in these cases that cost a little more or a little less than what you originally created the product. So you can absolutely update here. You could put in, say, we got them for $10 each. We can update, and that way it will reflect correctly for reporting purposes. Our extended cost is just our total cost, so that's the unit cost multiplied by the quantity, which is a total of 50. And then we can move on to our next lookup field right below where we just were and look up for our next product. Again, we could do a keyword search. You could scan the UPC. The next example I want to show you guys is an example of putting a phone in stock. So there is one extra step where it's going to ask you for the phone serial numbers or the IMEI numbers. So notice we were brought to a box that just appeared. So in this case, this is a Samsung Galaxy S3 phone. Now let's say we have about 3 of these in stock that we'd like to put into Wireless Standard. Instead of like the original way I showed you as far as the accessories, putting in the quantity here, you're going to see this box appear. It will let you know how many you currently have of the product here on the right. So we have over 550 in stock. And if we want to add 3, we'll just type in the number here in this little add field. So 3 and then enter. And then we can go ahead and scan in our 3 serial or IMEI numbers. Okay. And then we're just going to click OK down below. And now notice we have our 3 phones that we're putting in, and they are 200 each with a total of 600. And of course, you can always update your cost here if you'd like. Now, if you want to preview the IMEI numbers that you just scanned in, you can always click this plus sign on the left here, and then you can see them down below before you actually save this. If you want to put in more items, again, it's very simple. Just go to the next lookup field, look up your item, and then simply place in the quantity, whether it be a phone or accessory product. Moving on, so before I show you actually how to save these quantities to the database, you do have an option to save it as a draft here. So what this is, this will save where you left off, but it's not actually going to post the items to the database so you can sell them. It's simply going to save this document where you left off so you can continue on. Say a customer walks in and you need to assist the customer, or you have to step away from the computer and you don't want to lose this information that you just typed in. So you can click Save Draft. And now when we're back in the inventory management work center here, you notice there's a drafts down below the receive items. We can click drafts, and then we can see all of our drafts that were created and bring whichever draft back up on the screen that we want to work with. So notice this was today's date, so this is the draft we were just working with, so we'll double click and it brings us right back where we left off. Now, when you're ready to actually save these quantities to the database so you can sell them, simply click Post on the top left here. If you were to exit out of here, you'll actually lose all this information and you'll have to retype it in. So you want to just click Post. For those of you who are integrated with the QPay inventory management system, you'll be prompted to use our integration when you click Post to register your phones. So you're simply going to click Yes here. And what it's going to do, it's going to bring you to the integration where you can copy and paste the serial numbers that you entered to register them with QPay. So that's a really convenient integration that we have. For all other users, you won't see this pop up. It's actually just going to save right to the database when you click Post. And then it will let you know the document has been saved successfully, and now your items are in the database ready to be sold. So that's the first way, the main way to receive your items in inventory. Now the next way I'd like to show you is creating a purchase order and then receiving against the purchase order when the items actually come to your store. And this will help you keep track of what you've ordered. So before I dive into that, you'll need to create vendors in the system so you can identify where the orders came from. So what you can do is click vendors down below here. And if you hit search, you can see all the vendors that are currently created on your database. So to create a new vendor, it's really simple. You're just going to click create new down below. And then you're going to type in the name of the vendor or wholesaler that you're getting your products from, and then retype their name again. And of course, any information you have on them regarding their address, contact name, email, any notes you'd like to put in. This is important because if you ever want to print a purchase order and fax it to a vendor, or if you want to email it to a vendor, everything will look neatly on a header. And then you're going to simply click Save down below. And that will create your store vendor. Now keep in mind one thing with Wireless Standard. In order to see the vendor appear, to work with the vendor, you just need to log off. So you would simply go to File, Log Off, and then you would log back in, and then you would be able to see the vendor. So to create a purchase order in the system, you're going to click Enter Order here on the left. And then you're going to see the vendor that you just created on this list. And this is where you're going to tell the system this is where you're ordering from. So again, this is double entry. You've already created your purchase order with the vendor, but now you're just re-entering the information in Wireless Standard to help you keep track of your orders. So let's say, for instance, we ordered from this Alphacom vendor. So I'll double click Alphacom, and now notice it says vendor Alphacom, and we're currently logged into the Brooklyn store. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look up all the items that you've ordered on this purchase order. So for example, say we ordered about 5 of these cases at $15 each. And let's order some phones. Let's say we ordered 3 of these phones at $200 each. You can save this purchase order as a draft as well if you want to add more to it. But when you're ready to actually save the purchase order as a document, you simply click Post on the top left. Now keep in mind, if the vendor gave you a purchase order number that you want to refer to, because you may have multiple purchase orders created in your system, you're going to simply note it in this reference number area. We also create one for you in Wireless Standard under this PO number. So for instance, let's make up a number here just to refer to it so I can show you guys an example. 89019. And now I'll click post. So now our purchase order has been created. So it's really simple to create the purchase order. You just click enter order, select your vendor or wholesaler, put in your PO number here, look up your products, and then click post. So now if the order has physically arrived to your store location, you can receive against it because you've already created this order. So what you're going to do is click receive items in the middle. And this time, instead of clicking receive express, which you can always do if that's the method you want to choose, but if you created a purchase order, you can see them if you click the drop down and you select the vendor. So for instance, Alphacom. And here's our 89019 reference number. And here's our order. So to see this order on our receiving screen, you're simply going to check it off on the left and then click OK on the top right. And now here it is populated on our receiving screen. To receive against the order, it's really simple. So you're just going to look at what you've ordered under order quantity. So we've ordered 5 of this iPhone 5 case. And to receive against it, we're simply going to click in the quantity cell and type in how many we actually physically received. So if you only receive 4, you would type in 4, and that way it will put the last item that they owe you on a back order. But in this case, let's say we received all 5. And now moving on, we did order 3 of these phones, and let's say we received all 3, we'll just type in 3, and then enter, and then we'll go ahead and scan in the 3 IMEI numbers. Again, you can always preview the IMEIs that you just scanned in if you click the plus on the left. Here they are. And when you're ready to save this stuff to the database to sell it, simply click post on the top left. Again, for those of you who are integrated with our QPay inventory management system, you'll be prompted here to register your serialized devices to the QPay system. And you'll simply click yes here, and it will bring you right to the integration where you'll copy and paste the serial numbers to register them all in one shot in wireless standard. And now we've fully received our items and we're ready to sell. So those are the 2 main ways to go about receiving your items in wireless standard. The next topic I'd like to cover would be if you ever had to adjust your inventory manually. So say you wanted to take something out of stock without having to sell it. Now only administrators have access to this area. So keep in mind, managers and sales reps, they're not going to be able to physically take things out of the system without selling them. But what you would do is you would click inventory adjustment here on the left, and then you would click subtract under adjustment on the right. And then what you can do is simply look up the items that you'd like to get rid of. So for instance, let's say we want to get rid of a cell phone. Here again, you're going to get the box that's asking for how many you'd like to get rid of the product and the serial numbers that are associated. So right now we have 571 of this product in stock. Let's say we just want to get rid of 1. We'll type in 1 and then enter. And then we're going to go ahead and scan in the serial number of this product, and the system will recognize the serial number. You can also, if you don't have access, you could always click the box on the right here, and then you can double click whichever serial number you'd like to get rid of. Cassidy, I'll answer your question towards the end, and we'll take care of that. I'll assist you. Thank you. Okay, so when we're ready to get rid of this item, we're simply going to click Post on the top left. Now, keep in mind, you can always put in a note here as far as the reasoning behind why you're getting rid of the item. Say you gave it to, an employee as a gift, or you simply, the wrong serial number was entered. That way, when you run a report on inventory adjustments, you'll see that this item was removed for whichever reason. Okay, now moving on, we do have a feature in Wireless Standard for account stock. Now keep in mind, you're going to want to make sure you do this on off hours, because it's basically going to put everything on hold until it's fully reconciled. The way it works, again, you click Inventory Adjustment here on the left, and then you click Count Stock. And you're just going to select whether you want to do a full count stock of all of your items that are in the system, or if you want to separate it and just do, say, the serialized items, such as cell phones or accessory items. And then what your employees are going to do is they're going to look up the products. They could scan the UPCs. Okay, and then they're basically going to type in the physical quantity here as to how many are physically being counted. When they're done doing this, the manager or the administrator can go in here and reconcile the count stock document. So they would simply click Reconcile here, and then you would pull up the document. And it will let you know if there was anything overstocked or if there was a deficit, and everything that was matched. And you can make adjustments as necessary to your products. So it gives you the physical quantity, what the system says that you should have, and then the difference. And when you're done, you're simply going to click Post, and that will fully reconcile all of your stock. Now, regarding store transfers, this is very important for those of you who have multiple locations on your database. What you're going to do is click Store Transfer here on the left, and then it's going to bring you to an area where you can actually ship items to other store locations. Keep in mind, again, the store location that you're currently logged into is the Brooklyn Wireless store. Now, if you want to log into another store, it's really simple. You go up here to Settings, and then you go to Change Logged In Store. And that will allow you to log into a different location. So in order to send items to another store, you're going to click Ship Items here on the right under Store Out. And then you're going to get a drop-down that shows you all the other locations that are on your database. So again, we're in the Brooklyn store, and now let's say we want to send stuff to the Broadway store. We'll click Broadway, and then click Ship Express on the right, And then we'll simply look up the items in our Brooklyn store that we want to send to Broadway. And we can scan in our serial numbers, and the system will recognize, or you can always click the box on the right here, and you can double click whichever serial numbers you want to send over there. Okay. Now there are two main options you have from here. You can either click ship and receive, or you can click post. So the biggest difference, this is like a security measure. Let's say you want to send everything over there and you're not worried about anyone having to physically receive it. You just want to put it from this location to the other location all in one shot. You click ship and receive, and that will automatically, deduct from this location and update the other location. For security purpose, if you do want someone to have to physically receive the items, you can click post, and what that will do, it will deduct the items from this location, so you won't be able to sell them here in Brooklyn. But someone will have to log into the other location, click store transfer, and then click receive items here to receive the items. So that's the biggest difference between post and ship and receive. So for instance, I'll do an example. We're sending this stuff to the Broadway location, and let's put in a reference number so we can refer. And I'll hit post. And now I can go up to settings and change logged in store. And we'll go to the Broadway store. Again, open up the Inventory Work Center with this inventory icon here on the top left, and then simply click Store Transfer, and then click Receive Items here in the middle. And now notice we have all these different orders that are open from Astoria, but if we click Brooklyn Wireless, we can see here's our reference number and here's the order that we just sent over. So you just simply highlight it, click OK, and then it's a lot like the purchase order process. You would just simply receive against what was shipped. So here, 2 of these iPhone cases were shipped to us. Did we receive all 2? Yes, so just type in 2. And again, with the serial products, our Samsung phone, we received all 2. And it's going to ask us to scan in those serial numbers. Okay, and then click post on the top left. And that will save to this location's database in Broadway. So let me log back into our other location in Brooklyn. So moving on, if you ever want to do an RMA or a return to vendor, you can keep track of those items that you send back to the vendor in Wireless Standard. It's a really simple process. You're going to click Return to Vendor here on the left. And then you're simply going to click Ship Items here. And what you're going to do is you're going to first click the drop down and again select whichever vendor you're sending the stuff back to. Let's say Alphacom, for instance, and then click Ship Express on the right. And then you're going to look up your products that you're sending back to Alphacom. So let's do, say, a serialized product. We'll do a phone. And let's say we want to ship back one of these Samsung phones. We can always scan in the IMEI, or again, you have 554 available, so we can choose from a list if we click the button here on the right, and we just double click, serial number, and then click OK. Now the system is going to require you to put in the RMA number that you received from the vendor, and this is to refer to this document within Wireless Standard, as well to be it can be printed on any kind of reporting. And notice our return type is a credit, so we're looking for a credit of the cost, the 200. So when you're done, you're going to click Post, and now you're going to be unable to sell the item in Wireless Standard because you told the system that you shipped it back for the RMA. Now when you know that the RMA was credited to your account, and you want to fully reconcile it in Wireless Standard, you're going to again click Return to Vendor on the left here, and then you're going to click Reconcile RMA on the right. This is where you can filter out exactly what you're looking for. So you can search by vendor here. We know it was Alphacom and it was a credit. And then we could also do a date range or search to see everything. So here are all of our RMAs, all of our products that we sent back to Alphacom. Now to find our product, we can look for the RMA number. And here it is, 5678. So it's this Samsung phone, and we were looking for a $200 credit. So when you know that they've credited your account, you can simply credit within Wireless Standard if you double click and then type in the 200 and then simply click Post on the top left here. You can put any kind of title or memo for your purposes when you run a report. Click OK, and that will close out the phone and the RMA. It will fully reconcile it, so this way when you run a report later, you know that that phone was credited to your account. So moving on, the next item I'd like to go over is the serial tracking. Now this is more of a tool as opposed to a report, but this is very useful for your employees as far as recognizing phones that have been purchased from you versus phones that have nothing to do with your business. So what you can do is you can click this serial tracking link here next to the inventory box. And let's say someone comes into your store and they claim they purchased a cell phone from you. This is just a quick check where you could scan the serial number of the phone. And if it has nothing to do with your business, you'll simply get this error message that says no serial item was found. Now, if the phone was a part of your business, you'll get a full report here that shows you exactly when you received the item in inventory all the way up to when you sold it to the customer. Okay. So the next and last topic I'd like to cover would be the inventory reports. Now in Wireless Standard, we have an online reporting tool, and to access it, you're simply going to click Reporting here, this icon. So this is going to bring you in a separate web browser to our reporting online tool. And here's what it looks like when you first log in. Now there's a lot you can do with this reporting tool. Today we're just going to stick to the inventory reports. Now notice on the right hand side, this is our dashboard. So if you like a report on the left that you see, you can drag it into the dashboard and it will save, and basically it serves as a quick preview of the report. So that way the next time you log in, you can see these different reports all in one window. Now to access inventory reports in Wireless Standard in this reporting module, you're simply going to click Reports on the left here, And then you're going to scroll down, and here are all the different categories of reports you can run. Now, the one we're concerned with today would be the inventory. So we'll click inventory here, and notice it brings up all of the different inventory reports we can run. We can run different reconciling reports. We can run RMA reports, purchase order detail reports. All of our inventory reports are in this category. Now, the main inventory report I go over with my clients on this training is the inventory quantity and cost by store report here. This will be your main inventory report to show you all of the different quantities and serial numbers that you have currently in your system by location. So what you do is, and Cassie, this may answer your question. What you do is you click on the report, and then it's going to ask you to filter out exactly what you're looking for. So here under locations, notice if we click the drop down, we have all these different locations. So say, we're not concerned with some of the locations. We just want to see the Brooklyn products. So we can highlight Brooklyn. But if you do want to see everything, you can simply leave it on default, and you can deselect different locations based on what you're looking for. And then here in products, what you're going to do is filter out exactly what you're looking for. So I can uncheck the top here and then say we just want to see our cell phones that are in stock. I can just select our cell phone departments, or say we're only concerned with accessories. I could do this as well. Now you can get even further in detail if you'd like, if you click the little arrows on the left. So say with accessories, we just want to see, our batteries that are in stock, or we just want to see cases. So it's all depending on how, precise and detailed you want the report to be. For this example, let's say we want to do cell phones. So I'll select our cell phone departments. Bins is the condition of the item. So if you ever have a return or exchange, it can go into a different bin, such as a used bin. So it's only going to distinguish the condition of the item. I recommend leaving this on all so you have full visibility to see everything that's in your inventory, regardless of condition. And then you can click OK down below, and this will run the report. And now notice here's our inventory report on all the phones that we currently have stock in all of our locations. So we have a product description field, we have a serial number field, as well as a quantity field. We also have our total cost and average cost. Now down below we have totals here, so we can see that we have over 3,000 phones in stock. And we also have our total cost of all of those phones. Now this report, the way it comes out, it's extremely large. Like notice it's over 150 pages long. So we don't want to have to scroll through each page to see exactly what we're looking for. We want to pivot the information so this way we can see it nicely in a nice breakdown per model of phone. So to do this in wireless standard, it's really simple. You're just going to take this product description full here. You're just going to drag it up just a little bit and then drop it. And now notice we have this nice view, which is only 2 pages long. And we can see we have 9 of this particular model of phone in stock. We have over 270 of the LG Motion 4G. We have 1 of these Metro phones, 14 Samsung phones, and so on. And of course, here's our total cost of all of these phones. Now, if you want to see the serial numbers and locations of each of these phones, say the 9 of the Kyocera phones, what we could do is click the little tab on the left, the drop down. And it will show you, okay, that these 9 phones are in the Astoria location, except for 1 that's in the Brooklyn location, and here are all the serial numbers to these phones. If you ever want to print this report, it's really simple. You go to this tab here, print report options. Report options, and then you're going to go down to print here, and you can select whichever printer you'd like to print the report to. You can also subscribe to the report. If you click subscribe here, it's going to ask you to save it to a custom area, and you can name the report whatever you'd like. So after you save it to the custom area, what you can do is click report options again, and then click subscribe. And this is a really nice feature, and it's free within Wireless Standard. You can have the report emailed to you either daily, weekly, or monthly. So you're basically just going to name the subject line that will appear in your email. You're going to type in your email address, and then you're going to mark if you want it to be sent as a zip file or as just a regular Excel or CSV file. Down below is where you're going to set the parameters as to how often you want to email to you. So either once, on an hourly basis, daily basis, weekly. You can pick your days of the week and the time that you want it emailed, or monthly. And after you set the parameters, simply click OK, and then you'll start seeing the reports emailed to you in your inbox. You can also export the report to an Excel file or CSV file if you'd like, right from here. You can view it in different modes, such as a chart. And you can also modify the report. Let me give you an example of this. So to modify, you could basically customize these headers. So if we go to report options and then modify, we can go to show hide columns, and then we can drag different columns back in to the report, such as category, and we can also drag headers out to customize it that way. So this concludes the inventory webinar for the day.